Hey guys, I'm Isaac, and today I'm going to be telling the story of how the Magnified Heart project started. I decided to tell a story in Lego because I thought it'd be more interesting, so I hope you all enjoy. Without further ado, let's go back to when it all began. Originally the Open Heart project was a senior project for Josh and Andrew. They were helped out with Josue and CJ, and I went to an event that they held at Columbia. I went to watch, along with Andrew's girlfriend Haley and a bunch of other people who were also invited. The heads all came out, along with Aurelio, and we all kind of watched. This girl named Hannah came and she started singing. She was awesome. Andrew and Aurelio did a really funny sketch. CJ did a really awesome dance number with a few of his friends. They were really good. Anyway, so following this, CJ came and showed us a video of what they've been doing. They went out and went to go feed the homeless. It was very touching and very inspirational to watch them do this. So, following this, Andrew came out and said what he had learned from this. Josue said thank you for letting him help out, and Josh said that he wouldn't have been able to do this without any of us. They said thank you. I went up and said that was amazing. We're going to go into the future now, because some time elapsed. So even though the OHP was successful, it looked like it was over. Let's see why. It was rebranded the Magnified Heart Project due to legal issues, and CJ wasn't helping out anymore. Josh and Andrew promised to still help out, but they had to go because of school, so Josue asked me to help out, and I said yes. For a while nothing happened, but then finally, something did. So for my school senior project, what we had to do is what we wanted to do for an occupation. I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to help people out. So I called Josue and asked him if he wanted to help me out, maybe do something for the MHP. Josue agreed and said yes, he would help me out. So then I called my friend Efrain, because he's very artistic and is very creative, and asked him if he wanted to help me out with my project. And Efrain eventually agreed and said yes. Josue and I eventually met up with Efrain at Messengers to decide what we were going to do with the Magnified Heart Project. What we decided is that we were pretty much going to do an event similar to last year's, and we asked Efrain to do an event, maybe with Aurelio. As soon as we said this, Aurelio came in and we asked him to perform, and he said yes. So now that we had an idea of what we were going to do, we decided to do the event in Columbia. We asked Mr. Wolfteam, the principal, if we could do it there, and he liked the idea, so he said yes. Our friend Arissa later approached us, asking us to help out. Josue said yes. We later met up with Flying M, along with Efrain, to discuss ideas for the MHP. As we all went inside, we finally found a seat that was not occupied. As we sat down, we finally discussed ideas for the MHP. Jeremy came in, along with our friend Joe. Efrain asked to help out. They said yes. Later, Efrain asked our aspiring filmographer friend, Ben, to help out. Ben liked the idea, so he said yes. Also, Josue found his friend Kendall, his coworker Kendall, and he later asked her also to help out, and she said yes. Later met up with Flying M to discuss ideas. Josue asked us kind of to do something to prepare. We all said yes. For example, Josue and Jeremy went to the bank to make the Magnified Heart Project an actual thing, recognized by the state. That went over really well. We did it. Since Efrain's a great artist, he drew a poster for the MHP promoting the event. It was really nice. Ben, using his videography skills, made a video for the MHP showing some talent with actual clips. It was really nice to watch. Efrain and Aurelio were goofing around. Arista used the video camera they used for PSA, and then me and Josue asked the Dean of Students, Mr. Diplock, to provide security for the MHP. He liked the idea, so he said yes. I had to ask a teacher for some tables. She was a little bit ticked off because I asked her last minute, but then she liked Aurelio, and he asked her. She said yes. The night of the event, Diplock basically said he'd be around in case we needed him. Josue couldn't find me, so he eventually called me as a few of the people trickled in. I was at Jeremy's house. We were doing name tags, I think. Anyway, so as Josue was asking where I was, a few of the other people showed up, like Aurelio. I told him that I was on my way. Eventually, Joe showed up, picked me, Ben, and Jeremy up. We all crawled into his car and drove off. After I showed up, Josue asked me to go call Touch Rose because they were supposed to be there giving coffee for us tonight. Anyway, so Ben forgot some stuff at home. He needed to go grab it, so Josue sent Kendall with him. Our performer Clark showed up. I couldn't get a hold of Dutch Bros. Josue couldn't get a hold of Dutch Bros. So he asked Arissa to go get some coffee for us. She said yes. Following this, Josue's family showed up. Before the event, Josue took a look at the audience. It wasn't very big. Some guests were annoyed that we didn't have coffee, even though we promised it. Eventually, Ben showed up with his equipment, thank goodness. Josue called Arissa, made sure she was coming. She was. It was at Dutch Bros, so it took a while. Eventually, she got there. She had to pay with Josue's debit card, so Josue wasn't happy. As we were all waiting in anxiety, she eventually showed up with the coffee, gave to the guests. They were all happy, eventually. So then Josue could start the event, told everyone to get in their places. Ben started filming. Josue went up, welcomed everybody, said thank you for coming, introduced the first guest. They were motivational speakers. The first guy was really good. He was really nice. The second guy went up, also really nice, really inspiring. They thanked Josue for inviting them, said thank you, and left. Then Josue introduced the next guest, which was Clark. Clark came up, said hi, played a few of his songs that he wrote. His friend Perry came up and started singing with him. She was really good. And then she left. Then Josue introduced the next guest, which was Efrain. Efrain said hi, decided he was going to draw somebody. He decided to draw Ben because Ben was sitting there. Everybody came up and started watching him. He started drawing the picture, gave it to Ben. The next performer was a girl named Alayla. Alayla's a breakdancer. She had some really good moves that I wish that I could have done. Following her, Aurelio went up, did a really nice pantomime that I think he took to stage. I'm not positive. Following Aurelio, our friend Malachi also went up and also started breakdancing. Yeah, we had a lot of breakdancers that night. They were all awesome, amazing, very nice. Following Malachi, Ephraim and his now wife Nautica went up and they started doing spoken poetry. Spoken poetry was very beautiful and sweet. Following this, he asked me to talk. I was a little bit nervous, but he introduced me. I went up and started talking. They said hi after I said hi, and I started talking about how this had helped me out, and I was glad to be part of it. Following this, Josue ended the show by having Aurelio and Enrique play. Following this, I went to the audience. Clark said I did a good job. My friend Kylie also did a good job before she left. Then CJ also did a good job, and then Aurelio and Enrique ended the show. Then they all left after this, and everybody in the MHP started taking all the stuff apart before leaving. Diplock said we did a good job before he left, leaving only a few of us left to go celebrate. We went to Josue's house, hung out, started waiting. We called Josh to make sure, because Josh wanted to know how we were doing. He asked us, we told him what happened. He said we'd be willing to help out when he came back. A few weeks later, I had to give my senior presentation to a board of people who would be seeing how well I did the criteria. I told them how the MHP was influential to me and how it could influence other people in their daily lives. They asked me a few questions, I answered them pretty well, and then they gave me a grade, which I got an A on, and I was pretty proud. Anyway, following this, it seemed like MHP was over for a few months, and I thought it was too. However, even though I thought it was over, Josue called me, asked me if I wanted to meet up. I said, yeah, absolutely. So a few days later, I was at Flying M, and as I was sitting and waiting for Josue came in along with Jeremy and Alexis. He gave us a new idea for this, in which we would be focusing on individuals, the first of which would be Andrew. And that's how the Magnified Heart Project started. Just remember, even though we're not a huge group, we still love to help other people find their talent. So thanks for watching. Just remember, if you have a talent, remember to contact the Magnified Heart Project.